Let's travel back to 1838. So if you remember, 1827
I
was.
do not remember that.
Oh, okay. Well,
Welcome to ATL, All Things Local, the podcast where two Atlanta natives take a deep dive into the heart of Atlanta communities and neighborhoods. I'm Adam Mincey, your go-to Atlanta realtor.
And I'm Jeff Goddard, your trusted lender. Together, we're here to give you the inside scoop on areas and ATL, from their rich histories to their contemporary amenities.
So sit back and relax while we explore all that Atlanta has to offer.
welcome to another episode of All Things Local. I am Adam Mincey, one of your hosts, and I have Mr.
Jeffy.
Goddard next to me.
Yep, I'm one of your hosts as well. I put up with Adam Mincey on the weekly.
That is true. Today, we have a really fun city, and we always say neighborhoods. It's a municipality in itself.
It's an area.
It's an area.
And like many things that are real estate areas, it's debatable where that area starts and stops.
Well, speaking of starting and stopping, you can start on a trail in this area and go all the way to Alabama. You can stop at the end of the Bible and see where it gets its name from. And you can start with its earliest history dating all the way back to the Methodist Church and a religious camp.
Yeah, that's true. What is this place known as the Jonquil City?
Yeah, the Jonquil City. I never knew what a jonquil was. I saw them all the time because I'm like, what is this weed in my yard? But Kelsey was always like, no,
Don't cut the Smyrna plants.
Yeah, don't cut the flower.
Well, I let the cat out of the bag. The area we're talking about is Smyrna.
Smyrna is in Cobb County. Cobb County sits to the west of the city.
Northwest.
Yeah, northwest. Yes, thank you. It is on the northwest side. And fun fact, Cobb County is both ITP and OTP.
As a lifetime Atlanta resident and was around when the term ITP was invented, well, I guess ITP and OTP, I would have failed that test if you said, is Smyrna ITP, OTP, or both?
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a sliver, and we just realized that that's because Cobb County dividing line is the Chattahoochee.
It's the Chattahoochee River. That's correct. Yep.
Yeah, and that is right inside the perimeter right there.
Yeah. So like you said, Jonquil City, it's about 10 miles northwest of Atlanta. It's seen a lot of growth, mainly has to do with the Braves expansion. They built a mixed-use development called the Battery out there. And prior to that, you have a lot of history based around Dobbins Air Force Base and Lockheed Martin being there.
Bell helicopter, I guess Bell bomber plant.
So a lot of military.
I think just like brief historical, in my mind of what happened, we had Atlanta Road leading out to Smyrna when it was kind of before the war and all of that stuff. And you had the religious camp out there, and Atlanta Road served that. And then what is now South Cobb Drive, I believe that was built as an access highway to the military production that was happening there in World War II. And now, after that, a couple of decades, you had I-75, Interstate Highway Act, all of that kind of stuff happened. And then I think you're right. The next big development boom really took off with the Truist Park, or the Battery, all of that.
Yeah, because now you also have, Truist, one of its headquarters is at the Battery.
And Home Depot.
Home Depot. So, yes. Let's travel back to 1838. So if you remember, 1827 was...
I do not remember that.
Oh, okay. Well, 1827 was right when settlers were taking... Well, it's the Creek Settlement Act, which was the agreement with the Creek Indians, and we started to lottery off some of the land here in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Methodist Church established Smyrna about a decade later than that, right? So in Smyrna, that was also Creek Indian land, right? And settlers came, and the first establishment was a religious revival campground to where they would host traveling, a revival, right? Would be a traveling pastor. And they would lead these congregations under wood arbors. And that's kind of how it got started. And its name, Smyrna, is actually a biblical name as well. It's in Revelations, and it also talks a lot about, I guess, the apocalypse, if you will.
Yeah, as kids, that was always when we were stuck with only the hymnal and the Bible, and that was all we had to read for an hour, which felt like an eternity. We would always flip back to Revelation because it seemed like the only thing that was exciting. Or something,
totally. Yeah. You're like, what? The 7 angels are going to rain down from, it was like, oh yeah, this is like a sci-fi novel. Yeah.
But I did not capture a lot of what was said there because I don't remember Smyrna being in there, but I did know it was a biblical name.
Yeah. I don't think I remember Smyrna being in there either. Let's fast forward a little bit. So after 1838, Civil War, there were a couple battles, right?
There were. Mm-hmm.
Ruff's Mill. And then Sherman, he burned that place to the ground again.
But I don't think the covered bridge was burned.
Yeah, so tell us, there is a covered bridge, and it crosses over the Chattahoochee, does it? It's some major,
it's a creek.
South Creek. It's
Nickajack Creek.
Nickajack, yeah. And Nickajack Elementary School, all of that stuff is right there around the Silver Comet if you like to ride your bike or run or you're an Ironman.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that covered bridge and you live around Atlanta and you like seeing interesting pieces of history, definitely check it out. It's unique. And I'm kind of curious because it's the original one. I don't exactly know when it was built, but I'm wondering if it's like my grandfather's hammer. It's the same hammer that's been around for 100 years. It's had the head changed out 3 times and the handle broke 4 times, but it's the same hammer. Like, is it the same wood? Like, is all of it original, or is the whole thing just been replaced at this point?
I'm a big advocate for buying older homes because the wood was denser. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, it is
the exact same wood it was built with. Fun fact: do you know how Nickajack came to be? Because I was like, that's a funny name. Like,
it is a funny name, and it doesn't sound like a Native American name or anything.
Well, it dates back to the Cherokee town of a word that was Coosa Town, and that town was destroyed in 1794 by the Nickajack expedition. So it's a little bit of a corruption of the Cherokee. Yeah, so not necessarily
a direct correlation,
but also not necessarily like
direct relation. Yeah,
a positive, happy-go-lucky name. So it's on the south side of Smyrna.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I think it's technically a Mableton address is what it said, but it's just south of the Silver Comet, which does cross over into Mableton. But I remember the first time I came up to it, I was like, what the hell? Because it's a one-way bridge.
Yeah, you have to wait.
But it's not like there's no traffic that goes through there. I mean, it's a relatively...
If you're interested in unique traffic patterns, go see this place.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not like it's wide open. I mean, it's kind of like hilly, windy roads around there, It definitely feels like you're taking a step back in time. And there are big steel blocking bars to keep people from driving in with a 10-foot tall vehicle and busting the bridge apart or whatever. But
it's also the bridge that Beetlejuice was based on.
Really?
No, it's not. I just make that up.
Okay, you got me again.
But it looks like it is. It looks like one of those types of bridges.
But a couple decades ago, Smyrna was the place to buy affordable homes that was not very far from town. It was OTP, but it was just right there. Like, traffic from the connector up 75 inside the perimeter is usually not bad. So Smyrna for a long time was affordable, easy access neighborhood. And now it's not as affordable, and it didn't happen overnight, but it's still, for access in town, downtown, close to things. It's a really convenient place to live, and it does have things like the Silver Comet Trail.
Yeah, and it has more than the Silver Comet Trail. Like the East Palisades Park that you can't, I mean, that thing's like 12 miles. You're not far from Kennesaw Mountain. So you've got other things around you. If you like to be outdoors, it's a really good biking destination. You can go really far. The furthest I've gone on that is
Alabama.
No, I haven't gone to Alabama, but I have gone into Mableton and maybe even the next Hiram.
Oh yeah,
I've gone to Hiram on it. So I think that
Dallas,
was like 20
Powder
miles.
Springs,
Yeah,
all that.
yeah. 20 miles out and then 20 miles back.
That's great.
So you can go all the way to Alabama and Birmingham if you wanted to, but the trail goes for a long way. It's very flat. It's very fun to ride. You could average 15 miles an hour and not even think about it really. And then if you are looking for, like Jeff said, connectivity, it is a really good buy because you are close proximity to a lot of different things. But the housing stock there is not necessarily the same as it would be in surrounding neighborhoods. To me, Smyrna has always seemed a little bit, well, post World War II ranch builds and, not the hugest.
No, like smaller
homes.
square footage.
Yeah,
post-war
smaller
yeah.
ranches. Yeah, kind of the blue collar style ranches. So
And I think when you get farther up into Marietta, you see some, I guess, Indian Hills and all those areas. It's
You
a
do.
little more kind of family oriented, bigger, more elbow room kind of developments.
And not that there aren't $1 million homes in Smyrna. There certainly are. I'm just saying if you're turning off of, Atlanta Road into or South Cobb into a neighborhood, most of those are going to be probably smaller brick ranch neighborhoods.
So if I wanted to buy a 3-bedroom mid-century brick ranch, not a huge one, not original, but, updated, just kind of your run-of-the-mill kind of place, how much would I plan to spend there?
Yeah, if it were smaller, you would be in the high 300s, and if it were more updated, you'd be in the low to mid 400s probably, and that would get you maybe around like 12 to 1,700 square feet in that range.
Yeah.
So the larger ranches usually would have additions on them, and those would go for probably 5 range, maybe a little higher.
Giddy up. Let's go buy one.
Yeah. So it is still relatively affordable. And I think that that's the part of it that is really good for first-time home buyers or, empty nesters, someone who wants a ranch. It does give you a lot of, affordability.
We haven't really talked about kind of what the vibe is there and like the market village and festivals and all that kind of stuff. I guess it was is it the market village or is it the village green? Kind of where all the little shops and everything are in the park and all that.
Yeah.
It was it was a very comfortable community kind of place.
Yeah. So, I mean, both of that serves as like the heart of the city kind of thing. There's local dining there. They've got year-round events that happen, but the big one is going to be the Jonquil Festival, and that's in April. They also have Smyrna's birthday that they celebrate.
That's in September, I think.
That's September. That's correct. Yep. So live music, food trucks, family-friendly activities, that sort of stuff. And then, I think the vibe is generally based around the outdoors. I think that's where Smyrna really thrives. And
seems like it's got a pretty good demographic mix.
It does. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it does. And I think it blends from like Mableton and some of the, those areas being, and then you're not far from downtown Marietta even. So like if you want to go explore down the square at Marietta, that's got a good little place to be. But yeah, I mean, I think the market there has really held pretty strong. You find a lot of mix of housing. There are the mid-centuries like we talked about, but nowadays there's townhomes, there's condos even around the Battery. So you can find pretty much anything you want. And so, it's really, if what you're looking for is, like an affordability perspective, I think Smyrna is a really good buy. I mean, I think we should talk about schools.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So Campbell High School, they do have what is the name of that program?
Baccalaureate, International Baccalaureate.
Yes, that's correct. And overall pretty, good ratings as far as, East Cobb goes, and Cobb County schools have always been pretty solid. I know a lot of people relocate from other places to Cobb County schools looking for that. If you're looking for private schools, you're going to be probably close-ish to Westminster, I guess.
Westminster, Pace is not
Pace,
far away.
mhm.
Both south.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know much about the IB or International Baccalaureate program, but it draws attention.
It does,
and people like to get their kids in there.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that definitely helps with, like we said, like the real estate market there. It's going to hold value well because of things like that. Schools oftentimes
schools are really important.
They really are. Oh, one thing we didn't talk about, speaking of the end of the world and Smyrna and Revelations, is Sterigenics facility.
Yeah, I guess that's not officially right in Smyrna, but I think Smyrna was what I think of as the areas where that might impact things on a real estate.
That's in Smynings.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
it's somewhere over there.
Yeah, it's off of Atlanta Road.
But for those of you that don't know, pre-pandemic, way back in 2018 or 19 or something.
19, I
it's
think.
one of those events just before the pandemic that seemed to be erased from memory because so much happened right after it. That's what that era feels like to me.
Well, everyone in Smyrna was already wearing gas masks.
That's right.
But in 2020, everybody else started wearing. They're like, man, Smyrna really was ahead of the times.
So there was, I think, actual scientific reports.
There were
that
from the
recorded
EPA.
Increased ethylene oxide levels. Did the reports directly connect it to the plant, or was that the assumption?
I think they did. I mean, I think it was known that there was a leak or something like that, and it was odorless and
colorless.
Colorless, yes. So
it's kind of like what's the one you guys test for in the
radon?
Yeah, radon.
Yeah, and it was linked to cancer as well.
Yeah, it had a similar kind of ultimate effect. There were cancer risks. The tough part about cancer and stuff is that finding causation is really hard.
It is.
Because is it this plant releasing materials that cause these people to have a higher cancer incident, or is it something else in that same community? And so that's really tough. But I think from a real estate perspective, what I kind of wonder about is, if you're selling there or buying there, if you live there or are thinking about living there, is it something you need to look into? I would say you should definitely look into it and see if it's still a thing even.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine the gas would not still be around, or they wouldn't be allowed to do it, right? Like it's dated at 2019. So if you're moving into the neighborhood now, if you lived there back then, and you probably could still get a claim. I'm sure there's attorneys out there that are still filing, because it was a class action lawsuit, right?
Oh, okay.
Or I don't know what class action means, but whatever. They settled for hundreds of millions of dollars or something like that. But they didn't claim responsibility, I think is what I was able to research, but
or admit.
Or maybe it wasn't even 100 million. I think it was like 30
something.
million. It was like they didn't put out very much money either.
And I haven't heard about it in a long time. So
yeah, again, like they were wearing masks ahead of 2020, and then 2020 happened, and
I don't think the masks help.
Yeah, and then everyone just kind of forgot about it because and we've had other things like plant leaks in Covington recently, and
oh, that's right.
Yeah, other things that have kind of been released.
So something to be aware of, and I think that's something that you can really benefit from working with a real estate agent that knows the area, knows the history, knows has lived here your whole life, kind of thing. So reach out to Adam Mincey if you would like to move to Smyrna.
Yeah, we're happy to help. We know the area well, and we can help you find a place that would be close proximity to bike or run on the Silver Comet. And I am happy to join you for the bike or run if you want.
And I'm happy to loan you the money for your mortgage.
That's right. Yes, Jeff is here to loan you the money. That's what we do. That's why we create these episodes, to inform you, keep you, up to date with the neighborhoods and know what you're buying before you get there. If you would like to reach out to us, you can find us here, or you can go to our websites at minceyhomes.com or JasmineMortgageTeam.com, and we would be happy to help you along the way. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
Take care.